In this video, I'm going to show you the essential tools that I carry with me when I go on road trips outside of the garage. I can't believe that all of that fits in that one box. What's in this box has evolved over time. I'm constantly refining what I carry, but this is the box that I take whenever I go on road trips. I go on road trips in the Country Squire with this box. I take this when I go away with my Airstream. This is the box that goes to the racetrack with me, and I also can take this to the pick and pull yard when I'm looking for parts. The travel toolbox is kind of inspired by my dad. He had a big red toolbox that went on all of our family vacations, whether we were going camping or just driving out of town, and it just had a general selection of tools. So I'm going to take you through this and show you what's inside. If you have any suggestions, definitely put them down in the comments. I'm always looking for new ideas, and there's some things in here that you might be surprised to see in a toolbox. So let's open this up and see what's in the box. Right on top, I got a bag of zip ties, a roll of duct tape. These are tool rolls. I really like these because they're a great way to keep your tools all organized. So in here, I've got wrenches, some kind of standard size wrenches that you use a lot, a couple of adjustable wrenches, and ratchets and extensions here. This other one has more of those general tools. And again, these are on top because they're the things you're likely to use the most. So these are screwdrivers. We're in Canada, so I have Robertson screwdrivers because we do tend to find those finding their way into cars that are older and have been worked on. Of course, I got vice grips. You can never go wrong with those. A couple of different sets of pliers in here. Now, this is the first kind of surprising thing that you might not think to put in a toolbox, but this comes in handy so often. This is a torch tip cleaner. You can get these for not a whole lot of money. I added this after we went to Algonquin Park and I couldn't get my refrigerator to run on propane because the orifice had a spider nest in it. And I had to clean it out with pine needles because that was the only thing I could find that would go through that little hole. I've also used this to clean out the carburetor on a friend's golf cart when we were at the racetrack. We have a great selection of sockets. I am missing my 1/2-inch drive 9/16. It's at my friend Mike's house. I left it there when I was fixing a friend's car. So I just haven't seen Mike, so I'll get that back. We've got deep sockets and shallow sockets. This might be overkill, but this was actually a big socket set that my brother had, and the case, the big blow molded case, broke. So these sockets were just kind of bouncing around. I picked up these rails, so I have a complete set of sockets. Something else to carry on a road trip is some wire. If you run into a wiring problem, you can fix some things if you have some wire, bypass something, or run an extra line. I might have gone overboard with hammers, right? But sometimes what you really need is to hit something really hard. So I have a couple of hammers. This one is mostly for putting hubcaps on. The Country Squire tends to throw hubcaps off. The Airstream has Cadillac hubcaps on it. So if you take those off to torque the wheel nuts, you have to be able to drive those back on. So I carry a mallet with me. I have a hacksaw because sometimes you just have to cut something. I have had exhaust start to fall off on a trip, and a hacksaw gets it out of the way. These tools are not to restore a car on the side of the road. I'm not going to rebuild a transmission or anything. What I want to do is get to a parts store or get home in my garage where I can do a proper repair. Hacksaw is going to maybe get that done. Another thing that's not necessarily a tool but can be used in lots of ways is a little roll of parachute cord. All sorts of uses for this if you have a breakdown. You can make a throttle cable out of this if you need to. You can secure a load. If your door handle breaks, you can make up something to hold your door shut. I always carry a test light because on a trailer or on an older car like this with a basic electrical system, you can troubleshoot most things just with a basic test light. I have some more sockets in here. So I have all different sizes. A pry bar, this is one of those things that you're probably not going to find on the side of the road, and sometimes you just have to put some leverage on something. So this is the longest pry bar I had that would fit in this box. If I could get a longer one in, I probably would. Air inflator, right? When you're traveling, I get 4 tires plus a spare on this when I'm traveling with one of my trailers. They're both 2-axle trailers, so I have 8 tires and 2 spares. And when I go to the racetrack, I've got another set of tires on the race car. Here's more wrenches. This is a set of wrenches that I got when I was like 14 years old, and they were my main wrenches for a long time when I was a teenager working on my first car. As I got better wrenches, I didn't need these anymore, so they found a home in this travel box. There's a roll of electrical tape to go along with our rolls of wire. Breaker bar, that's great to have. No point in having this if you don't have 1/2-inch sockets. I do have 1/2-inch sockets here, so I can use this. If you have to change a wheel on a car, this could be really handy because a lot of times the little bar that comes in your car isn't going to get the wheel off. I have both metric and standard Allen keys here. This is something it's hard to figure out a way to loosen one or tighten one without the proper tool. If you have a nut that you're trying to tighten, you can get away with a pair of pliers or a pair of vice grips or an adjustable wrench if you don't have the exact right size wrench. But with these things, if it's something like a set screw, there's several of those on the carburetor linkage on this car. You really need these if you're going to get them. I have metric and standard because I have new cars and I have old cars. I have a meter here. This is the cheapest meter I could get. Again, I'm not going to be doing a lot of crazy diagnostic work on the side of the road, but I can certainly find an open circuit with one of these. Or I can troubleshoot my charging system, for example, so I can find out whether my alternator's charging and maybe get to a parts store and buy a replacement alternator and use these tools to install that on the side of the road. Something you'll notice is these are all generic things. There's nothing really specific to any of my vehicles, and that's because those types of tools or those types of supplies would be in that specific car. So for example, I keep a spare set of fan belts in this car because I might not find those on the road, but I don't keep them in this box because, like I said at the beginning, this box goes all over the place. So there's no point in taking a fan belt for the Country Squire on a trip when I'm towing my Airstream with my Tundra, because that wouldn't do me any good, and I don't have room in the box for every type of belt that I might carry. Same thing goes with motor oil. My cars take different grades of oil. All of those things that are vehicle specific stay in each of those specific cars. I said before, I'm constantly refining what's in this box. This is a set of battery terminals. We met a gentleman in a motorhome who was stranded because one of his battery terminals had broken. And had we had these, I would have been able to help him out. As it was, I gave him a hose clamp that I had, and he managed to make a battery clamp out of one of those. And I hope he made it home. He got out of there anyways. But when I got home, I added these to the box because it's something that I could have that same problem potentially on the road myself. There's a few other things in here. These are clips because I tow trailers a lot. If you lose one of these, it might be hard to find. At the top of the box, I have a knife. Always good to have a knife. Never know when you have to cut something. This one sits right on top so I can get to it quickly. This is a wheel socket. The most likely problem you're going to have on the side of the road is a flat tire, right? And the trouble with a lot of these cars is it's difficult to get to these tools, or they're just not very good. So with this and the other tools I have in here, I can very quickly and easily change a flat tire. And the final thing I've got, which is something I just added recently, is some of these glow sticks. I got a couple of red ones and a couple of yellow ones that just zip tied together so they don't bounce around. And I can think of lots of good uses for these. You could use them like road flares if you're broken down at night. You could zip tie the red ones onto the back of the car if your taillights fail. That actually happened the first car show I went to this after I got it on the road. It turned out I had a chafed wire or something going to the back, and every time I turned on the headlights, it blew the fuse. So I had to drive home with no lights, and what I was really worried about was someone coming up behind me and not seeing me. And if I'd had these, I could have zip tied these to the back of the car so someone would have seen them sort of like taillights, and that would have been a lot safer way to get home. So these are the essential tools that I take on any road trip that I go on, whether it's in new cars or the old cars. If I'm going out of town, this box comes along with me. Let me know what you think. If you agree with any of this stuff, if there's anything you say I absolutely have, please put that down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time here in the garage.